I feel like Wayne Rooney is a mistake. Frank Lampard is unproven. You need someone who's very, very experienced and knows how to get the best out of a squad, but also have the gravitas to kind of get their respect.
So Everton are looking for a new manager after the sacking of Rafael Benitez. And I think it would be really intriguing to see Wayne Rooney return to Everton. How do you think it would go?
So I think they've done the right thing so far. I think they've got Duncan Ferguson in. It needs to be a massive shift and change from Rafa Benitez, which felt stale. It felt like it lacked passion. The Rooney call, in terms of dealing with what you've got, great shout. What he's been able to get out of such a depleted squad has been pretty astounding, to be honest. He's a good manager, but it's too early for him. And I think recruitment's so important with this job. And he hasn't experienced that. He hasn't really recruited anyone because he's not been able to, because he's been at Derby. So I feel like Wayne Rooney is a mistake. Frank Lampard is unproven. It's dangerous, but he has got contacts. And I like him. I think he's an intelligent man. Do you think Lampard could do this job? He hasn't proven it in this little section of the Premier League, has he?
I'm surprised you call him unproven. I mean, proven in terms of what? He's taken a team into the Champions League. Now, you might say finishing in the Champions League spots with Chelsea doesn't prove anything. They've got such a high quality squad. But I think he brought through a lot of young players there who are still in the Chelsea squad and are improving. You know, you've got to give him credit for that. And I know he was forced into that situation, but he at least saw that talent. You're right, he does have a lot of connections. I think the only thing is he gives that glitz and glamour to Everton that maybe they want and they've gone for before and it hasn't worked out. Where's the real substance there? I still think Frank Lampard's a better coach than people give him credit for, because everything in football is about context. You don't do well with Chelsea, you're a massive failure. You do well with a club lower down the league and suddenly you're a footballing genius. So, I think he does deserve another opportunity in the Premier League. He just needs time. He is still an inexperienced coach. You know, whether you like it or not, he's a big name, but he's a very inexperienced coach. If he gets that job, I think he can make a success of it. I agree with everything you've said about recruitment, but he needs, most importantly, time. Will he get that at Goodison Park? I'm not sure.
With Everton, this is a squad that feels like a real mess. You've got players that have been there through 5 different managers. So I think you need someone who's very, very experienced and knows how to get the best out of a squad, but also have the gravitas to kind of get their respect. That's why I would go for Unai Emery if you were able to get him through the door, because I think what he's done at Villarreal, I think there are some similarities there in terms of the quality of player that you might be able to bring in. You need to bring in the right sort, but you might be able to bring in some big names along the way. And then you need to be able to get the best out of the squad that you've got. Unai Emery, very diligent, somewhat similar to Rafa Benitez, but I think if you have that little period of time with Duncan Ferguson, that more intelligent, studious, if that's a bit harsh on Duncan Ferguson, I apologize. Please don't come for me, Duncan. But I think that Unai Emery, I think he would be a really, really good fit. I thought he was harshly dealt with by Arsenal. Who do you think could be another option for Everton?
It's interesting you say Unai Emery. I agree with you. Very talented coach. But does he have the respect of everyone in England? You know, he got turned into a bit of a laughing stock, didn't he, during his time at Arsenal, which I thought was unfair, but I think that's where he currently stands. Look,
so did David Moyes. I will say that.
So did David Moyes, exactly. Look, Nuno Espirito Santo has been mentioned. That's a no from me. I think the football would be negative. Roberto Martinez, the Belgian boss, has been mentioned. I think he's got a good style of football, but it's a World Cup year. I'm not really sure the Belgian FA would go for that distraction. And why would you leave that group of players heading into a World Cup? It's difficult. I love Ernesto Valverde. Whether he would suit Everton is a totally different story. I'm not sure about that. And the big name for me, and he's already spoken about not wanting to leave Brighton, but Graham Potter, his reputation grows and grows and grows. And it's almost an indication of how badly Everton's been run, that a manager like him, who was at Östersund and then down in the Championship with Swansea and now at Brighton, doesn't want to take the step to, with all due respect, a bigger club in the shape of Everton that doesn't come with the pressures of those Champions League teams. It's the right size of club for him, but unfortunately not run in the right way. Aston Villa and Steven Gerrard, that was more the model that I think he would have wanted, and he's got to be very clever about his next step.
You bring up Steven Gerrard there. That is the opponent this weekend. Everton against Villa. Duncan Ferguson against Steven Gerrard. We wish they were both still playing. And Steven Gerrard, I wonder if he wishes if he was still playing, because he seems to be looking to sign every single player that he used to play for. Expect Lucas Leiva to be signing in the next couple of days for Aston Villa. But he is doing a fantastic job. And the new signings, we saw a glimpse of them last week. Lucas Digne and, of course, Coutinho. And You saw it, didn't you? You saw how it would set up, playing a little bit more narrow in terms of that front three, allowing the fullbacks to get on. It's an exciting time to be an Aston Villa fan, isn't it?
It is. Look, he's surprised me. I remember talking about him being a coach coming from Rangers, and said, well, look, if you hadn't been former England captain and former Liverpool captain and, a bit of a Premier League legend, would someone that's won the league in Scotland get a job as enticing as the one at Aston Villa, with money to spend, a great fan base and a very good squad already? And I think you've got to say he does have a few things going for him in terms of that position, but in many ways he's made them more defensively good, although in the last few games they've conceded more than they would have hoped to. The likes of Jacob Ramsey coming through from the academy is very good for them. He looks like he's going to be a player for their future. And the signings are quality. They have added quality. And again, that is because of Steven Gerrard. Those are players in the shape of Coutinho and Digne that probably Dean Smith, the former Villa boss, wouldn't have been able to attract. And if their transfers keep going in this vein, they could have a very high quality team in a year or two. So all things going well for Steven Gerrard. I think Villa have to be the favourites this weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you. The time is now for Aston Villa, and it's a bit of a nightmare fixture for Duncan Ferguson for that first game with Everton, because you'd like someone who's maybe not as energised as this Aston Villa team is right now. And looking at the games ahead, and Steven Gerrard will certainly have put that forward to them. Everton, Leeds, Newcastle, Watford, Brighton, Southampton. They could go on a really, really exciting run here. So it's going to be fascinating to see how it pans out. I just wonder, with Everton struggling the way they are, the Duncan Ferguson effect won't be enough in this one.
Hi, I'm Hugh Woozencroft from ESPN's Football Forecast. Make sure you're subscribed. You can follow all of our predictions throughout the season and get some other great analysis from our big names as well.